Hey guys, welcome to episode 18. This is Two Girls Chirping. I'm Lauren.
I'm Abby.
And what are we talking about today? PWHL?
PWHL.
I was so close.
So
Second
close
time.
and yet a little far.
Closer than I normally am.
Yeah, normally you have no idea what we're talking about.
We have the spring decor out.
We do.
Unfortunately, it's spring, which means summer is right around the corner.
And before people come for us for it being February, this is Alabama. It is going to be 70 today.
It's been 70 for the past couple days.
Yeah. Live, laugh, love.
We're not happy about it either.
We're not, actually.
But that's what the decor is for, to soothe the soul.
Speaking of things that people might not be happy about, trades have been popping off.
It's like the Canes lit the torch and everyone else is kind of following suit.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to JT Miller.
Yeah, that was a long time coming, I fear. Vancouver did multiple trades yesterday. JT Miller to the New York Rangers, which he was drafted by the Rangers. I think he'll be a good fit there. They got a couple players. They got a first round 2025 pick. There were also some defensemen from the Canucks wrapped up in this, but Eric Brandstrom, Jackson Darrington, not like... Yeah.
So it's official. Vancouver has chosen in the Miller versus Pettersson beef that I think was all press.
I think a lot of it was press.
And they have chosen Pettersson. I can't say I'm upset because I'm pretty attached to like that little
trio.
Garland,
Hughes,
Pettersson, Garland, Hughes, Bozier.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I think it's symptoms of a larger problem. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, look at the Rangers after they got rid of Trouba.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing all right. They probably, well, I don't want to say they have a better chance of making the playoffs than the Canucks, but I will anyways. They have a better, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to put that out there. It's also, the Vancouver Canucks did a trade with Pittsburgh. The Canucks acquired Marcus Peterson, or is it Pettersson? I never know which one it is.
I think that one is Peterson. Does it have one T or two?
It's got two T's.
Oh, Pettersson. How many Petterssons are we going to have on this team?
There's so many.
We've got them all. What the heck?
They also acquired forward Drew O'Connor from the Pittsburgh Penguins as well, or the Penguins acquired a first-round pick. It was all kind of in the same trade. It was like a three-way trade, essentially.
So who got the newest Pettersson?
The Canucks have the newest Pettersson.
Okay, sorry. That was a bit confusing.
Yeah.
What else is new?
There's just a lot of moving pieces.
Goalie. And the Canadians, goalie's out.
Goalie's out.
Oh, God, I'm so scared.
The Flames have acquired Morgan Frost. And Brandon Saad from St. Louis has gone to Vegas. They also couldn't come to a contract agreement, so they said, I'm out.
Crazy.
It's crazy. I don't know. There's just been a lot of trades going on. Lots of moving pieces.
This is what we call silly season.
Yeah, welcome to silly season.
And IndyCar.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put my head down and just hope for the best.
Just take my hand and we're going to run.
If I don't look, I don't see the trades, right? If I stay off the socials.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of socials with trades, I posted something about the Natchez trade. They got a lot of backlash, only on Instagram.
That's because people on Instagram are mean.
Yeah, I was deleting comments left and right because honestly, if our content's not for you, don't watch it.
Don't follow us.
Like I will never understand how people feel the need to comment something negative on someone that's
always men.
It's always
too.
men.
It's especially on Instagram. Like I got a couple of men that commented on my opinions on the Red Wings uniform. It doesn't need to be said. That is our opinion.
Yeah.
We love Natchez. I love him in Colorado. He got his first goal with Colorado last night. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and Rantanen has been
You do not have
good.
to share yours. Just don't look at our stuff.
Because
if you comment something mean, we're just going to delete it and block it. So just don't even bother.
Like, I don't understand.
Except for Artie McArtie Pants on TikTok because he loves to fight in our comments, and it's
a healthy way.
funny.
It is.
I don't know.
He's not saying,
I think it's a healthy way.
Yeah, he's not saying like you're stupid.
Red Wings opinion. You don't ever share your opinion again. Don't ever comment on this.
And like the people that are like, you clearly don't know anything about hockey. Rantanen's a great player. I never said he wasn't. I said I miss Natchez. I said I miss Natchez. I actually said I want all of them. Can I be selfish?
But anyways, to summarize, be sweet or be gone.
That being said, Randy, I don't know his last name, but
he knows who he is. Randy from The Crew.
The Crew. I want to say thank you for the positive reinforcement. It's very rare. And I hope that your wife likes this series on the PWHL. I saw that she bedazzled a jersey. Queen behavior. We love it.
And we love The Crew. We support y'all.
Yeah. So shout out them.
Shout out to The Crew. Specifically Randy.
Also, I want to give a shout out to the podcast Read Between the Blue Lines, Mackenzie and Bree. They have an episode from a couple weeks ago talking about all of the difference in PWHL rules to the NHL. That is where a lot of these rules that I'm talking about come from. Some would argue that's where all of them came from, but they go into a lot more detail and give some explanations or some examples, I guess is the better term. So their episode's really good. It's called Who Made These Rules? And it's by Read Between the Blue Lines. So shout out them. It was great. It was fun. They had some really funny commentary. I think it was them too that said if a tampon company doesn't sponsor the PWHL,
it's a missed opportunity.
And them say this period is brought to you by Tampax, like that is a missed opportunity.
I agree.
I love it. Anyways, PWHL. I'm stoked to get into it. I think this is going to end up being, it's at least going to be 3 parts. I said I didn't know. I still don't know. I might stretch it to 4. I just don't want to overload with information. But today, we're not necessarily talking about the teams yet, but more so the history of professional women's hockey and how it's led into this, and then some differences between.
Let's go.
Them. So the PWHL was founded in 2023. So this is only their second season as a league.
Like F1 Academy.
Yes.
Which is for the girlies.
Yes. They are owned by Mark Walter Group, who is essentially just Mark Walter, CEO of a global investment company called Gingham Partners. I was looking into this because, again, I'm an accountant. These things fascinate me. They've hired so many major employees from other major companies, including JP Morgan's head of media investment banking, Apollo Global's director and vice chairman, a Yahoo interim CEO, multiple people from Goldman Sachs. Like, it was fantastic.
That's fascinating.
I know.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
You know Goldman Sachs.
I know the documentary about the bubble and the financial ruin that happened in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, that tracks. Well, all that to say, I was really nervous that they wouldn't have the financial stability to support a league in the way it needs done, but I'm not worried financially about this league, which makes me happy.
I want to say one thing before you really dive in.
Okay.
We did not mean to match our chairs. This is a pure coincidence.
There's a lot of green going on over here.
A lot of beige in this corner. It's just a happy accident.
It's a happy little accident. Yeah. He's also owned the LA Dodgers and is a co-owner of the Premier League club, Chelsea. Soccer. This is where I sent you a voice memo about how there's just never-ending ties from hockey to motorsport. Mm-hmm. He is launching the Cadillac F1 team in 2026.
This is him?
And he is rumored to become co-owner of Andretti Global.
I'm going to remember your name now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the newest team that got added. So a little bit of backstory, summarize. Andretti wanted to buy a place onto the F1 grid. They wanted to build a team.
For years.
It's really, really hard. They did all the bids. We thought they were going to get approved. And then in the last second, the FIA came out and was like, there will never be Andretti in the Formula One world. So what did they do? they went around and partnered with Cadillac and got a bunch of basically the same people who were going to launch Andretti. They joined Cadillac and submitted a bid and got that approved. So basically caught in the system.
Which explains why he's also rumored to become co-owner of Andretti Global.
And Andretti is a massive influence in IndyCar, Formula One, probably other disciplines of sport, of motorsport, but I don't know them.
Yeah. To talk about the founding of the PWHL, there's 2 different leagues that have happened prior. Professional women's hockey. The NWHL, the National Women's Hockey League, that was founded in 2015. So they only had an operating budget, the league, of $2.5 million.
That's nothing.
They were mainly nonprofit. Initially, women's hockey players were not being paid. They would get incentives, they would get some bonuses, but they were not being paid. This actually became the first professional women's hockey league to pay its players.
Thank God.
They still weren't getting paid much. There was a minimum salary of $10,000 per player, and every team had a salary cap of $270,000. Keep in mind, there's 23 players on every team. That was cut in half the following year.
Cut in half?
Yeah. The league didn't really have many sponsors either, and that was mainly where it struggled. Dunkin' Donuts was the first league-wide sponsor, but players weren't getting any percentage of that.
I don't drink Dunkin's because I hate it, but I might now.
Yeah. There were 7 teams in this league. I'll name them because they're fun.
Name them!
The Boston Pride, the Buffalo Buttes, the Connecticut Whale.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
Connecticut Whales?
The Connecticut Whale, singular.
You just said Connecticut so weird.
The Connecticut.
Keep going. That one was better. Connecticut. Say it with me now. Connecticut.
The Connecticut Whale, the Metropolitan Riveters, Minnesota Whitecaps, Montreal Force, and Toronto Six.
As in 4s and 6?
Force.
Oh.
Like Star Wars. And the Toronto Six. As in...
the number.
And eventually there were some NHL teams that partnered with teams from this league. The Devils were the first to partner with the Metropolitan Riveters. They helped with sponsors. They helped with marketing, ticket sales, broadcasting, all of that.
A moment of silence. That's my team.
They would even have like double header games to have. So the not the PWHL. The
NWHL.
The NWHL would play a game.
I remembered it the first time.
You did. I'm proud of you. And then the Devils would play next. So it was kind of like, oh, come watch both.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have a day. Come watch some hockey.
Buffalo was another team that partnered with. They partnered with the Buffalo Buttes the following season, and then one more team followed suit, but it was the league was kind of coming to an end already. As a brief intervention, let's talk about this other women's professional hockey league that's going on, the CWHL, the Canadian Women's Hockey League. And they were struggling. They weren't doing much of anything either. They weren't having many sponsors. Their players weren't getting paid very well at all. And so in 2019, these 2 leagues tried to merge together. It failed. It just wasn't working out. They couldn't come to agreements. And so the CWHL players started speaking out about not being paid a livable wage, having no insurance, literally no benefits. 200 players released a joint statement announcing their intent to boycott all North American professional hockey. So NHL and women's hockey.
It's giving F1 Drivers Association.
That's exactly. So they were going to boycott from the 2019-2020 season. They then organized, there's so many letters, the PWHPA, the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association.
Okay.
I know, a lot. To be, basically, they wanted to have a league, they wanted to continue to play, but they wanted to be supported more, they wanted more inclusivity, stable league, and to continue their play as that league was collapsing. So, are you tracking?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Mostly, I think.
Back to the NWHL.
Okay.
They took a rebrand. They became the PHF, Premier Hockey Federation. Your face. There's so many letters. They just wanted a rebrand they had a lot of structural changes in 2021. They came to an agreement with all of their players to earn 50% of the revenue split on like sponsorships for the league and all of that. So they were earning more money and they wanted a more gender neutral name. So they became PHF.
Sure, why not? We love a rebrand. Sometimes it works.
Hey, sometimes it works. The following season, 2022, salary caps increased for each team to $750,000.
Much better.
Players would receive full health care benefits and equity stakes in the team.
I think that's more than appropriate.
Yes. They also expanded and brought in a Montreal team.
Yes, we love Montreal.
And Reagan Carey, who is a former USA Women's Hockey Program Director, became commissioner of the PHF.
She's their Susie Wolf. Mm-hmm. We love to see it. Welcome.
So between the NWHL and the PHF, that league had 8 seasons. Boston won 3 titles.
Good for them.
Yeah, literally.
Get it.
Buffalo, Riveters, Whitecaps, and Six all won 1 each. The only teams that didn't win any titles in those 8 seasons were Connecticut and Montreal.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
A big, shiny, metallic new for sale sign.
Yes. I'm seeing it.
So, in June 2023, Mark Walter Group and BJK Enterprises, Billie Jean King.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, tennis.
I know.
Okay, Mrs. Tennis.
Mrs. Tennis. They purchased the Premier Hockey Federation. First of all, I knew about Billie Jean King because
we watched tennis.
I knew that she had a part in this because B. Jameson, B Sports on TikTok, did a whole thing about it during the Australian Open. But I still was like, oh my God!
What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Yes. So they came to a deal with PHF. They also had come to a collective bargaining agreement with the PWHPA, all the letters, the alphabet over there.
Okay.
And the collective bargaining agreement established an average salary of $55,000. No more than 9 players on each team would be allowed to be paid the minimum, which was $35,000. It included healthcare insurance, maternity leave, retirement benefits, compensation for housing and relocation, as well as some other incentives, including bonuses, depending on how they rank and all of that.
Good.
So those 2 leagues merged, and now we have the PWHL.
Thank God, because I wasn't going to be able to hang on for much longer.
I know, there was so much going on. That's how we became with this. That's how we became this. Became with this?
Better together.
This. Words are hard. Here's the thing.
Tell me. What is it?
PWHL only had 6 teams. Those 2 leagues combined had a total of 11. So some players would not be drafted or signed.
That's fair.
A bit more
That's what
competitive.
happens.
All of those players that were kind of SOL did receive $10,000 as compensation.
I love money.
Which what I don't even think was necessary. I think it was just a good call.
I think it's the respectful thing to do after they basically spent 3-4 years, something like that, not getting paid anything
and
to do
like
this.
In limbo.
No insurance, no benefits.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I agree.
I work for money, honey.
Mm-hmm.
But I work to live. I do not live to work.
Period. I do not live to work.
I work so that I can go on trips.
Yeah. So there's 6 teams in the PWHL, 3 Canadian and 3 American.
I'm tracking.
The Boston Fleet.
That's a sick name.
The New York Sirens.
Love.
The Minnesota Frost.
Ooh, cold.
I know.
Icy cold.
I like that.
I love it.
The Ottawa Charge.
I can see, I'm sorry.
No.
The Minnesota Frost, I can literally see what they should do for their entrance to the arena, and if they're not, it's a freaking missed opportunity.
I love it.
Think a little Jack Frost in you.
That's what I was
A
thinking
little winter
of.
storm blowing in. Oh,
I love it. The Ottawa Charge, the Toronto Scepters, and the Montreal Victoire.
that is so classy.
Right?
Montreal Victoire.
Yeah.
Ugh, I want to learn French.
The American in me was like, victory, but I was going to say the way that they...
Victoire.
Yeah. They were not known. They didn't have their, like, nicknames their first season just because they were on a time crunch. So they were just Boston, New York, Minnesota. And they also didn't have logos. It's kind of like Utah Hockey Club.
Gotcha.
They just had, like, a logo,
Do you mean Utah Yeti?
Oh, my gosh.
Thank God that got denied.
I was about to say, I wish that had worked out. Anyways.
They can do so much better.
They can. I really hope that it turns out good.
What do you want it to be? Do you have any thoughts?
I have
any feelings?
no idea.
Submit your name suggestions for Utah.
I have no idea what I want it to be. So they had they also didn't have like logos really. They just all of their jerseys, they had a color scheme, and it was just their location diagonally across the front of it.
I think that's fine. I think that's a good place to start.
I think
I'd rather do
too.
that than have some of these less than desirable logos that are on the NHL jerseys.
Which this season was the first one with like the logos. I think every single one of them is a hit.
They're all bangers.
Do you want to see it?
Should we do a jersey TikTok later? Better or worse?
I think they're all amazing though. I think they did a great job. So
I can't even begin to see that. Thank you for thinking I could though.
yeah. On the left.
Oh my God, the Montreal one.
Yes. Oh my God.
That's a stunner.
Yeah. I even like the Ottawa Charge one too. I just like all of them. I want to see it.
It looks like Calgary.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think there's
that's
room for
Toronto.
Improvement on.
I like Boston's too.
I think that's ugly, and I think that's ugly, and I think that's ugly. Did I already say I think that one's ugly?
So you think they're all ugly?
No, I love Montreal's, and I really like that one. They need better color choices.
She's pointing at the Minnesota one.
I think we should do a better or worse. I think a better or worse.
I think
I'll give you the opportunity to see if you can find better pictures of it.
I mean, I think Montreal's is the best.
No. That is just, it's gorgeous. It is stunning.
Boston's is my second favorite. A lot of people compare
the Boston one is really good.
A lot of people compare the Toronto Scepters one to a cheerleading uniform that Taylor Swift wore in one of her music videos. I'll talk more about that when we talk about this team.
The You Belong With Me one?
I think so. It looks pretty spot on.
I mean, if we're not going to be inspired by Taylor, I don't really want to live in this generation anymore.
Yeah, I love Taylor.
That's my
not
girl.
mad at it.
She's not my dragon, but I'm not Khaleesi. For those of you that keep up with the It Ends With Us drama of it all.
Yeah. Okay, so when the PWHL was established, all player contracts were voided. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I just thought I would point that out as well. Last season, their inaugural season, they broke a lot of records for women's hockey last season, which I love. Live, laugh, love. I love being in the era where women's sports are getting their rights.
Is it fair that they broke a bunch of like records for women when they basically didn't get started until a decade ago? Like, I feel like I'm not trying to take away from them. I think that they're doing the damn thing.
They are.
And they deserve their tiaras and their bonuses and their insurance.
Absolutely.
And a good night's rest and clear skin and whatever else you want. You deserve it, queenies.
Absolutely. I fully agree.
But it's kind of like saying, I don't know. That kind of stuff gives me the vibe of like the Ottawa Senators.
Well, I just wanted to point it out because there were 2 leagues prior going on, and neither one of them had great success. But this league finally was getting the media attention that it needed.
I'm happy.
And they were getting the attendance that they needed.
Good.
Their highest attendance game was of 21,105 people at a game nicknamed the Duel at the Top.
Oh, I love a name.
Which is when Montreal plays out of the Bell Center, which is the home of the Montreal Canadiens.
Girl, I know.
That's
where we're going to see
other people might not know. That's where we're going to see Tate McRae.
We get to see Tate McRae there.
So, Toronto finished first in the regular season last year. Here's the first rule change that I want to talk about that I kind of love.
Tell me about it.
I don't know if you're going to like it, though. There's only 4, so there's 6 teams. Only the top 4 go to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
The number 1 team in the regular season gets to pick who they play in round 1. They have a 24-hour window to select who they want to play. So they chose Minnesota, who was ranked 4th. I feel like that's not a shock to pick the lowest ranked team. Minnesota did defeat them in 5 games. They play 5-game series.
They said, "Burr, it's cold in here." They said, "We must be some frost in the atmosphere." It said, "Burr." We are just girls.
We're just girls.
Who could ever be mad at us?
On the other side of the playoffs, Boston was playing Montreal. Boston won the series in 3 straight games, with all 3 games going to overtime.
Boston kind of sounds like they're running this league. They ran the past leagues. They're running this league. I love it. Get it, Boston.
So Boston played Minnesota for the finals. For the Walter Cup is their Stanley Cup.
What's the origin of that?
It's named after the Walter group that bought the league.
I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. I didn't know if there was some hockey player that it was honoring. Like a Conn Smythe, if you will.
No, just a rich man, if you will.
Hey, when Daddy Warbucks buys your league, improves it, and gives you money and benefits, you name a cup after him.
Period.
He does a rare win.
Yeah. Minnesota actually beat Boston in 5 games to win the cup. So they won it last year. Live, laugh, love. So far this season, Toronto and Montreal actually... Let me talk about this first. So far this season, Montreal is leading the standings. They have 28
Thank
points.
God.
Minnesota is second with 25, and New York has 19 and third. But, I mean, that's a pretty... Their point system's different, too, but I'll point that out in a second. Montreal and Toronto played in the Vancouver Canucks Stadium.
Rogers Arena?
Yes. For the first time. It was the first time that the PWHL has played in Vancouver either. This all happened a few weeks ago. They had a sold-out crowd.
Thank you, Vancouver.
I know. Over 19,000 people came out.
They said, we just want to see a team win.
Yeah.
We don't even care who.
I saw something that was like, they had more attendance at that game than the Canucks have had.
The Canucks are... How do I want to say this?
Como se dice?
In a slump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I, too, would want to go see the Girly Pops win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd like for the Canucks to win, but that's okay.
Yeah. I thought I spilled this on myself, but I guess I didn't.
That's all right. That's okay. We're going to go see all the Girly Pops play into the world.
Okay, let's talk about some of the differences. So they play 30 games a season. 15 at home, 15 away. Everybody plays everyone 6 times.
I was really hoping that they weren't playing some outrageous number.
Yeah, which it is insane, 82 games. Granted, there's...
82 games is excessive.
There's 32 games, or there's 32 teams. So, if you want to play everybody, you have to play a lot of times. But it's still crazy to me. So, 30 games, very reasonable. 15 at home, 15 away. They're not playing in NHL stadiums. They're playing in, their own stadiums.
They've got their own stadiums, too.
I mean, I'm sure they're sharing with, other things, but I just wanted to point out they're not playing,
They don't have a Rogers Arena.
Yeah.
They don't have a Lenovo Center.
Yeah. There is a series of games called the Takeover Tour where they're playing mostly in NHL arenas, all in NHL cities, so Raleigh, Edmonton, all of those, where they wouldn't traditionally play because they don't have a team in that city, to build fans there, to get their names out there.
Whoever had that idea...
Great idea.
Genius.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's
the name what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and I think it's so much smarter than risking putting a team in, Vancouver, not knowing if it's going to live or die.
I mean, sources could say that we're currently still trying to see if that team is going to live or die.
Yeah, I don't know. I love that so much. So that's the Takeover Tour.
I love it. It's giving reputation.
It's 9 games, but I love it. I love it. The next Takeover Tour is going to be in Edmonton. It's the Toronto Scepters versus the Ottawa Charge. If you want to tune in.
I really want to see Montreal play.
Yeah. Their point system also works a little different. So as we know, the NHL, you get 2 points if you win a game in regulation. If you go to overtime, you get 1 point, win or loss. Which kind of pisses me off because I'm like, if I go to overtime and I win, I want more points than the team that's losing. In the PWHL, you get 3 points if you win in regular time. If you go to overtime and you win, you get 2. If you lose, you only get 1.
I mean, it just incentivizes for you to win in regular time. I agree that, like, if we're going to overtime, if we're doing more than is required, I want extra incentives, but I understand that it serves to make sure that the games finish in regular time.
Yeah, I agree. There's some different rules, too. My favorite, and I think probably the most talked about, is their jailbreak rule. Have you heard about this?
Tell me about. I haven't heard literally anything about this at all. Didn't even know the name of this thing.
So if a team is on a penalty kill and they score a shorthanded goal, the penalty kill is over. They go back to even strength. Their player comes out of the box.
Amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's incredible. That's only...
I love the name, jailbreak.
If it's a major penalty, that doesn't happen. But if it's a minor penalty and you score shorthanded, jailbreak, bitch.
I think that's fine.
I agree. It creates a more offensive focused penalty kill. You're not just like trying to fend off, you're trying to score too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to just
Read Between the Blue Lines said in their episode about this that they should have a special song for these goals, specifically breaking free from High School Musical.
Yes, oh my God.
I love that idea.
We're breaking free.
Where do I sign the petition for that to be the case?
How do I get to choose the soundtrack? Because it would be a banger. They come out on the arena, right? We're on the Takeover Tour.
Okay.
Lights are dark.
Ooh.
Are you ready for it? Dun, dun, dun. And they like skate out. As the dons are going, it's like highlighting to where the players come out. Baby, let the games begin. The game starts. I'm telling you. We're breaking free.
Dude. I was just picturing that in my head.
I got chills.
I did too.
I gave myself chills.
Are you ready for it? I got chills. Oh, it's so good. They have another rule.
And I think that for penalties, for major penalties, Favorite Crime by Olivia Rodrigo. Mm-hmm. For a play like Roughing If They Have It, Two Hands by Tate McRae.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Let me at the soundtrack booth, please.
Dude. Which team's the closest to us?
I don't care. I want to go to Montreal or Boston.
I think Boston's the closest. If we're going to Montreal.
If I'm getting merch, it's for Montreal.
Oh my gosh,
those
they're
uniforms?
Sick. Yes. Okay.
They cooked. I don't know if this is the proper use of the term, but they ate down. I
also don't know if that's the proper use of the term. I feel like it's not, but I understand what you're saying. They ate, they went back for seconds, and they're taking leftovers home.
Exactly. And they're going to be just as good as the first time around, if not better. It's chili. They've cooked chili.
It's chili. It's had time to marinate in the seasonings. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Anyways, the other rule that they have that the NHL doesn't have is called the no escape rule. So if you take a penalty, you know how in icing, if you ice the puck, your line doesn't get to change until they have to do another face-off. It's similar. If you take a penalty, your line that's on the ice doesn't get to change. They have to do the face-off. So I kind of like it too, because then you're also having tired players out there. And if you can't get a change in, it's kind of like, well, you did it to yourself.
Oh, what is this? The consequences of my actions?
Yeah.
What?
But they can still change sometimes. It's just, I think that too pushes to have a more offensive penalty kill because you're trying to get out of your zone so you can change.
As someone who yells shoot the puck at the TV a fair amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that rule.
Offsides is not reviewable play or like a coach's challenge.
Oh.
So if the refs miss it, that's it. Which,
Do you want to hear a hot take?
Yeah.
I think that shouldn't be a rule.
Offsides.
Yeah. Who cares? Do we really care? Let's ask ourselves. Do we really care?
I don't know. I'd have to see a game without it to see how big of a difference it makes.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. They also take player safety a lot more seriously.
I wish we would.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like they do a good job. I want to walk that back. They try.
The players are their own worst enemies. Let's be real here.
It's still a dangerous sport.
Yeah.
It's still, a fair amount of fighting. That's one of the big draws for it. But I feel like it's fairly safe.
I think you'll like this, though. If a major penalty is called or like a game misconduct or anything, they have to review it. They review any and all illegal checks to the head. So, and it will automatically initiate the headquarters. So the PWHL Central Situation Room will review it on their end and get back to the refs on whether or not they deem it a major or a game misconduct. Whereas in the NHL, they can call it. They don't always have to run it by. They always say back in Toronto. I assume that's where the NHL headquarters are. It's occurring to me now that I don't know what that's called. But I like this a lot. I'm like, if there's contact to the head, review that.
Review it.
That is so dangerous. Also, this isn't necessarily a part of this rule, but they do wear cages and bubbles, which I like.
Mandatory?
Yes.
I think that should be more. I think that should be mandatory in the NHL.
I'm not upset at it. I think, too, they're not making as much money as NHL players. So to get a facial injury.
But like a puck to the head, I don't care how much money you're making. A puck to the neck, a puck to the head. That little visor is not protecting you from like anything. Yay down. I think that they should have some sort of neck guard too. Like the goalies that wear one. Why are we not all doing that? I want y'all safe. I want you to go home to your loved ones, not the hospital.
Yes, literally. And another rule. Oh, I already talked about this.
Another rule we already know.
That the number one regular season team gets to choose their opponent in round one. We talked about that.
I love that rule.
I love that rule too.
Can we make that an NHL rule?
I wouldn't be mad at it. I would not be mad at it.
If I have to pick something that I can choose to come true, though, I want to be able to like play the sound list for the PWHL.
Just can we please DJ a game?
I'm telling you right now.
Just one. Just give us a chance.
The crowd would be insane.
It would be banger after banger. People would be crying. People would be angry. People would be excited.
People are not going to be crying or angry. Well, it depends on who goes. Yeah. But I feel like the type of crowd that's going to these games, they're going to know all the songs I'm going to play anyways. Yeah. It's going to be incredible. Please, you guys.
Let us DJ.
Please. My next break in the semester is in May. Let me know.
Yeah. So, where to watch? If you're in Canada, which I do know that we have some Canadian listeners.
Do we?
Yeah.
That's all.
If you're in Canada, you can watch it on TSN. You can watch all games there. There are some additional streaming services that have the rights to just like one team. I know Montreal's got a French streaming network that you can find.
I need to learn French.
Yeah. That's like the third time we've said that this episode.
That's like the fifth time we've said that this week.
Yeah. They also show it on a couple other streaming services. I don't want to sound, I don't know what I'm trying to say there, other than I don't know if YouTube works the same in Canada or not.
We don't want to sound ignorant, but we live in
ignorant.
America, and we've always lived in America. We're not well-traveled like the Hughes brothers. Like, I'm not part Canadian. I don't know how it works there. We're going in August, so we'll be more educated, but for now, we don't know.
But in the U.S., at least, you can watch every single game live streamed on the PWHL YouTube account, and then they upload them after the game concludes. So you can watch previous games as well.
So if you can't view it wherever you're at, get a little free VPN.
Yeah.
Set it for the US. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And
support our girls.
Support our girls. Then I just have some random little notes. There are a lot of 1-goal games, and it's not for a lack of competition. It's because they're pretty competitive.
Heck yeah.
Especially last season, I want to say I saw something that like 80% of the games were 1-point games. I love it. I have a love-hate relationship with teams getting absolutely blown out.
It's hard to watch.
I love it when it's my team, but it does get a bit boring. And then when it's happening to my team, I get pissed. So I like that they have 1-goal games.
I don't know. I like a game that's close. I don't like a blowout. I don't even really love a shutout. I think it speaks to the goalie, but like as a fan, the energy from the players in the arena, if it is any sort of a close game, it's just way better.
Yeah, I agree.
No one wants to see dominance. Well, I don't. That's why I've never been an Alabama football fan. Nobody wants to see that.
I just have class.
Nobody being me. Me. I don't want to see that.
Okay, also, they also all line up for handshakes after the games with each other, with all the teams, which I love. In the NHL, you really only see that in the playoffs.
Was it the Canadians that the whole team lined up to shake
for Fleury?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
not gonna lie, that made my heart feel things.
Oh,
class act,
dude! His last game of this season is gonna wreck me.
The Wild slamming their sticks on the ground, and the crowd. I'm not built for this. Anyways.
Also, the fashion is so good with the girlies, with their walk-ups.
I can only imagine.
I love it. Look, there are some NHL players that put some effort into their outfits, but for the most part, a suit is a suit.
I love a good classy suit, though.
Yeah.
I love to look at their attires. A little cap.
Oh. Yeah, but the girls are like...
giving fashion.
Like a pantsuit situation is fantastic. Some of them have like Louis Vuitton drip. I love it. Like, I will send you some stuff. The girlies girly, and it's so good. It's so good.
When does their season start? And
November through March.
So maybe I won't get to DJ a game this year, but next year.
Hey, playoffs.
Who is blowing you up?
It's you and me. It's our book club.
Oh.
And then I'll finish with this off of the website. And then that's like really it. Next week, we're going to talk about teams. But on the PWHL website, they have a little Who We Are section. And this is the quote that's on there. Oh, I don't know if I can do this justice, but when I read it last night, I got chills. Since we first learned to skate, we've been captivated by the dream of owning the ice. Driven to conquer it with speed and skill, we used it to elevate the game. Years, months, days, minutes, and sometimes seconds, time measures our dedication. When no one is watching, when it's dark and cold, with persistence, we keep going again and again. Our legacy has been built on the cornerstones of passion and sacrifice. Heroes of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, building together. Today we compete united in spirit and intention, a new era of trailblazers under the shining bright lights. We are here to show what is possible. We are here to spark new dreams. We are here for all of us. Ice time earned.
I'm not gonna lie, I have chills throughout my whole body.
Dude, I love it.
I'm not gonna lie that, oh God, as a woman.
Yeah.
I don't want to be dramatic,
the ice
but
time earned.
I feel like if I saw one of them say that with like a dramatic commercial, you know, like some music, I'd probably cry.
Should I put some motivational music behind it? editing.
The quality I'm looking for is last year's Vancouver Canucks intro video.
Dude. Look, if the Canucks are not good on ice, we still need to respect the fact that they can make a fantastic intro video. Every single one of them. This
year's was not as good as last year.
Well, every single one of them.
That was like a cinematic experience.
Literally. Was it like Star Wars themed or something?
It was more like Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
For those of you who know what I'm referring to.
Yeah. Crazy.
I loved it. This year we were chipping away at the ice. Quinn Hughes was just boop, 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 boop. Everyone else is just like doing the damn thing. It was great. It was good.
It was good. Okay. And then next week, we're going to talk about the first few teams. Either 2 or 3 of them. I don't know yet. But we're going to talk about the lore, the love. Wink, wink. Yeah, all the things you need to know. Star players, the coaches, all of that. I'm stoked.
We're only doing the 6 teams. We're doing the current league, right?
Yes, we're doing the current league, the 6 teams. And depending on how much information I feel like I want to include, I want to say we're going to do 3 teams. We're going to do 2 parts. Mm-hmm. But if there's a lot of information, I'll keep it to 2.
Keep it to 2.
Keep it to 2. And that's the PWHL.
I enjoyed it. Last episode, you said Quinn Hughes, and then basically called me broke. Just because he's like probably a multi-millionaire.
There's no probably he is a multi-millionaire.
I haven't looked up to see how much they're worth. I feel like that's kind of
going off of contracts.
What's his contract?
I'm pretty sure he signed like a $40 million contract or something.
I'm pretty sure they made him sign a blood oath. That's what I heard.
I think they did too. Yeah, he's in year 4 of his 6-year, $47 million contract.
I didn't need to know that. Them buying a summer house together told me everything I needed to know.
Also, shout out to the girl who said that Cole also owns a lake house on that same lake.
It's so cute.
Like, what more could you want?
Ugh, I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's so cute. Cole Caulfield. Cole Caulfield. Notice how I said his name correctly? I did.
I'm proud.
It takes me a while to learn names correctly.
Ditto. Hey, I said...
Especially when I start saying something, like I'm going to out myself as an ignorant girl, but I called Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Jarvis, and Steven Jarvis for like...
This is the thing about Lauren.
Months.
This is the thing about Lauren. If a man's name starts with an S, she's going to call him Steven for the first like 12 times, and then she'll figure out.
I see it with a PH because I grew up on Vampire Diaries.
Stefan.
So I just the only man, I don't know any men in real life whose names start with S. So the only man I really knew growing up was like
Did you know Stefan?
Did you know Stefan
growing up? Stefan Salvatore, my childhood best friend. Stefan Salvatore.
That was the only name. Think of how many episodes we locked in for that. How many rewatches.
Hey.
That's just like my default S name. I'm sorry, Seth. I know who you are now.
Okay, we need to wrap this up. Well, I'm super excited to learn about the individual teams. I've done some research, but...
I'm very excited. Let us know if we should, mostly me, do a better or worse for the uniforms.
Yeah.
I enjoy them, but I also am not afraid of a controversial opinion. As long as it's nice. Like, it's not personal. I'm not telling you that I hate them or that I don't like them. I love the Red Wings, but I hate their uniforms. I think they need an updated logo desperately.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Lock in. Finish up. Any last thoughts?
Any last thoughts? No.
I love it. I'm very excited.
I'm excited.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you were an NHL player that's current, which one do you think you would be?
I'm trying to think who's just vibing. And God, I don't freaking know. Who would you be?
Who would I be?
Because you're asking because you want to say.
No, it just popped into my little head.
I have no idea. I'd be Jordan Martinook.
Yeah, I could see that.
I just want some fun socks. I just want to hang out.
Yeah. Who do you think I would be?
I started to say Freddie Anderson. Who would you be?
Why do I kind of feel like I'd be Austin Matthews?
Why is that what popped into my head too?
I was kind of thinking Austin Matthews. He's just like a sassy, casual boy. But I guess he has tattoos. I have tattoos. We've both got big foreheads and good hair. But I don't think I have good fashion like him. You want to be my William Nylander?
Shucks, I guess. All shucks.
A blondie who's kind of quiet but funny, just doing the thing.
I also just want to vibe with my dog.
That's what I was gonna say.
Period. Okay.
Period.
So what if we're a little codependent?
Maybe that's why I like the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up. Okay, next week we're going to talk about the first few teams. I'm so excited. If you have any bits of lore or anything specific that you want us to touch on with the PWHL, let us know. That's all.
Bye now.
Bye.